IRS just defeated Kraken in court. We're going to tell you what it means for the customer. This is Around the Blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. Please hit that like button because we got some great guests on today. As usual, we're going to go start on the top left. I didn't know his name for a couple seconds, but I figured it out after he told me that is. It is Army Piper. Army Piper, do you remember, what did I even say? What was the name?
I'm not sure.
Like
that might be why you can't remember my name.
Military
I think it was,
crypto.
Military crypto guy.
Retired military man.
Yes. All right. Also semi-retired, we have Jenna X. Jenna, how are you doing today?
Fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. Happy early 4th of July.
And speaking of 4th of July, he's looking forward to celebrating his heroes tomorrow. That is Mind Your Biz. Do you have plenty of Chinese explosives ready to detonate?
No, we go straight to the source, and we put that stuff inside of a firearm, like Americans.
Hey, I thought you were going to say like a saltpeter mine, like go way down the supply lane. Okay. All right. Well, guys, we're going to first start with some Azuki drama that has been happening. I know we covered it last week, but even more drama has been happening. More intrigue. This is almost going to turn into a movie at this point. Of course, they had the mint last week. It was heavily criticized. They raised $38 million. Well, after the not so successful launch of the Elementals last week, a group of holders, they formed an Azuki DAO, and then they demanded a refund of $38 million. Yes, they formed a DAO to create a Karen to ask to talk to the manager there for scamming the holders in their terms of the $38 million. And that's what they raised in 15 minutes, by the way. Well, shortly after the Azuki DAO was formed, where they're going to sue them for $38 million, the claiming contract was exploited and then drained of all their ETH. The DAO has vowed to resolve the exploit and pursue legal actions against the synonymous founder, Zagabond. It wasn't that much ETH, but I think it was just funny that all their ETH got drained, after forming this DAO of, hey, we're going to band together, we're going to unite, and then we're going to fight Azukis in court. Hey, what happened to our DAO? All our money's gone there. Now, Jenna, I'm going to lead with you. I mean, I just ask about NFT collectors in general. Why do they feel so, maybe entitled's not the right word, but why do they feel they have so much agency over these collections? I bought a shiny Charizard. I don't think it gets to mean I get to name the new Pokemon. Where is this entitlement coming from?
Yeah, but DZ, there's like way more Pokemon than there are these NFTs. So I think that's kind of the problem. Your community is everything. And let's be real, wash trading makes up like 94% of all NFT sales anyway. So you want to cherish your community, and look out for them. They're going to buy your new collections and just keep buying them up. What was the rest of the question?
Well, basically, why do they feel, just so much agency? People will spend $100,000 on a Charizard card, but then they'll spend $2,000 on the NFT. But they feel like, well, I'm part of the NFT group. I'm essentially a middle manager, and then they try to direct how the company might operate. Why don't they do that with, other collectibles? You don't see it with trading cards. You don't see it with, statues or figurines.
Oh, because they love the drama and they're spoiled brats too. Yeah, they definitely are. We are. But, I think they want to you have a chance in Web3. You have the connections on Twitter. People are so much more accessible than they are in these big companies to be able to go after them. And then you got bros. They're like, yeah, let's spin up a DAO. Let's do it. So, they have more access to it. That's my answer.
All right. Well, I'll get Hit Network. We're going to go buy Action Comics #1. And then me and BJ will cast the next Superman. All right, we'll Army Piper, given the fact, we got this DAO, it got hacked. It's not looking great for this, but so even more drama, even more intrigue, and in a sense, even more reasons to be outraged at the moment. What can the Azuki team, or what should they do to maybe navigate this tumultuous time? Is there anything they can do, or is trust just already lost forever?
Well, I think trust was lost when they found out that Zagabond had already been part of NFTs that have launched and been known rug pulls to begin with. And then they came out with the original of the Azuki, and that was an absolute failure of a launch. And then they come out with the Azuki elements. I don't think anyone's to blame here except for the people that keep investing in bad projects. If you want to keep getting, smacked by the branches, and you don't know to duck when you're running through the woods, then by all means continue to get smacked with branches. And when people go, hey, why is how did this DAO get hacked? Well, I mean, obviously, it's not the smartest people that were investing in this project to begin with. So I would actually look at the level of intellect that went into writing the smart contract to know probably that's where you place the blame on them getting hacked. So it's pretty bad right now. If you keep investing in a broken project, that's as bad as me continuing to re-enlist in the Army. I finally learned my lesson and got out. So hopefully they don't have 21 years of bad choice making behind Zagabond's creations of NFTs. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for your service and again, all of that. So we do appreciate it. Not going to say the V chain joke. I see the 3 guests they're expecting me to. I'm not going to. Sorry, mind your biz.
It's do vet.
All right. Well, mind your biz. I kind of want to ask you about. There seems to be a fine line that's happening in crypto right now. There's a fine line between purposely rugging a project and then poor execution. How do we distinguish that, or is it impossible to distinguish?
First off, thank you for having me back on the channel, and it's such a pleasure to be with new friends like Army Piper and to be back on the show with Jenna. These are great people, and I also appreciate the service that they've both given. It's not something I was willing to do back in the day, so I'm very grateful to people who were willing to do that because I enjoy the freedoms that they protect. But as far as knowing whether or not there's any kind of malicious intent or kind of malicious action behind the scenes, you hit the nail on the head, DZ. We can't know. So I can fly a false flag and say, well, set up this contract for the DAO, and oh gosh, golly gee, somebody stole all the funds. Actors unknown. Crypto is dangerous freedom. So I love that you're asking this question on the day before, our Independence Day here in the United States, before 4th of July. Freedom is dangerous, right? And what we choose to do with it can lead to weird, unexpected results sometimes, unintended consequences. When you set up any kind of a smart contract, and then the leadership says like, oh, there was some kind of an exploit by a third party, we can't possibly know whether or not they've set up, clandestinely other wallets, because crypto is anonymous, or bare minimum, it is pseudonymous. So you can provision infinite wallets with nothing but a smartphone that is offline and using some free and open source code. In fact, I've covered this on my channel a couple of times, DZ. I show people how they can set up over 1 million new fresh wallet addresses using any computer that's lying around, using free and open source code. You don't even have to know how to code stuff. All of this runs in a browser. You could set up as many wallet addresses as you want. In fact, I'll go one further. You could even set up a vanity wallet address that starts 0x dead and it looks like a burn address. There's so many ways to approach this with malicious intent and make it look like you were not the bad actors who stole funds. So it's literally impossible to know. And I think you're asking exactly the right question. So to people who wonder, is it possible that the principals at Azuki DAO, is it possible that they were complicit? Yes, it is totally possible. There's a non-zero chance. In fact, if you can imagine that that's the outcome, it's probably, I'll say maybe double-digit percentage possibility that there was somebody in the Azuki DAO formation. And this is not an allegation. I'm not saying that it definitely happened, but there's double-digit percentage likelihood that it was an inside job.
Now, if I want to avoid that, mind your biz, do I need techno music playing, a gamer chair, and 9 screens?
Yes, but you also have to scream "hack the planet" from the backseat of a cop car.
Okay, all right. 1 extra point for that. All right, let's talk about some Bitcoin ATMs. But first, we actually have some breaking news. This is brought to you by iTrust and Amino's Pegasus app. You see a little spike in Bitcoin price right here. I just want to give you my 2 cents. We're not going to cover this story just because it's really just an addendum to a story, but it looks like BlackRock refiled and they named Coinbase as their surveillance sharing partner. Mind Your Biz is very excited about the surveillance sharing aspect about that, of course, but that might be why we saw a little bit of a spike. But guys, we've talked ETFs, we've talked Bitcoin, Coinbase, plenty of times. So let's talk about Bitcoin ATMs. We have the world's largest Bitcoin ATM. Wait a minute, quick question, BJ. Is that what happens? Does it print out, it gives me a Bitcoin coin, right? A physical coin, BJ?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. I think that's how it works, folks. Well, they are now publicly listed. They are the world's largest operator. They debuted today following a SPAC merger second half of last year, back in August, valued at $885 million at the time. Well, now they have their ticker BTM, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. BTM. At one point, the stock had just doubled essentially instantly. It had fallen back down to earth. Bitcoin Depot is the name with the BTM sticker or ticker there. They have 6,000 Bitcoin ATMs, make up about 20% of the global supply. So 1 out of every 5 Bitcoin ATMs belongs to this company. One cool fact, if you have a Kangaroo store Circle K, if you live near a Circle K, we used to be Kangaroo. They're in 2,000 Circle K. So shout out to the Circle K. We're going to give them a free shout out there. Now, Army Piper, what's your diagnosis of Bitcoin ATMs in today's business model? Is it a working business model? I mean, do you see these things? Oh, you got some of those printed out from the machine, right?
I do. I've even got some Doge here. I got some Doge there. I got some Bitcoin. This is what everybody's been talking about in YouTube, right? That we're buying.
Yeah, the Bitcoins, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that was a gift from my dad, so he thought it was cool. But
hey, son, so they're going for $20,000, but I found you one for $20.
Yeah, on Amazon. So no, I appreciated him getting me that. It was pretty cool. It's a nice little thing to sit over here on the side. But look, I mean, what was your question about the ATMs? I was just excited.
Well, what do you think of their business model? Here, so. Is this a viable business model? I mean, they seem to be growing. They debuted on a stock market. I mean, do you see this existing, in the future, 10 years from now, say?
So I see the ATMs everywhere. I live in the land of Circle K down here in Texas. So I see them all the time. I think they're decent idea. I mean, they're kind of pricey if you want to buy Bitcoin on them. But, like we were just talking about earlier at lunch today, like grandma and grandpa still don't understand how to get on Coinbase and get their Bitcoin, but they might be able to figure out the ATM. They've been using that for a while. So I do think they have their purpose, and I do think they have their place. I think they're more trend and fad than anything, because as people learn more and as people start to take more hardcore approaches into getting into crypto, they're going to realize that the ATM is not the way to go. I do see that it's a way that you can go and quickly move some money if you didn't have access to like your ledger or something like that. And someone goes, hey, I want, I'll take Bitcoin on that. And you go, oh yeah, I've got a little bit of Bitcoin right here. Hold on a second, and send it over to the wallet that's connected to the ATM. So, I mean, maybe it has a purpose, but long-term, I don't think these are going to be the thing until they start to throw other stuff in there, like Doge, like Ethereum, like Tether or USDC. A crypto ATM plugged into a fiscal infrastructure is going to be way more useful than just a Bitcoin ATM. Right now, it's a faddish way to get into Bitcoin, just like PayPal, just like Cash App, stuff like that. Until people start realizing, though, that there's a better way to get into it, they'll be around. But once they do, I think those ATMs will be a thing of the past. And then I'll be looking at putting in some shorts on that stock for BTM. So
I'm going to break open one of those machines and pull all the Bitcoins out of it. We have a couple super chats. Seth, look, if idiots want to buy silly NFTs, let them. The market determines the value. It's just a waste of NFT technology. That man is all about the car titles and the dental records. And crypto, Seth, also +1 Army Piper and Investing Bros. All right, you can buy wins here. We're going to give him a point there. All right, now, Jenna, let's pretend, you woke up, you're Voldemort, you're Hermione Granger. You're the world's most powerful wizard. You could wave a wand and put a Bitcoin or a crypto ATM in every single convenience store in the entire world. Would that make a difference when it comes to crypto adoption?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Army Piper was saying, it makes it so much easier for like your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. It's accessible for more people. But even not just in convenience stores, but if you think about small business owners, instead of they were accepting cash, well, maybe they want to turn that cash into Bitcoin. So I do see a need for it in the future for a long time. But then even just going forward, like I believe that this is something that is here to stay. And as far as like the stock, which is super cool to see one that's not on the pink sheets, because I got into one, it was still on the pink sheet. But the neat thing is that whenever we still have like another year until the Bitcoin halving. So this price, we can let it chill for a while and get to where it needs to go. But you better know it's probably going to correlate just like BTSC did whenever Bitcoin pumps. So that's really exciting to watch out for that stock.
All right. And plus 1 points for trading those basically altcoins of the stock market world there. All right. Now, Mind Your Biz. Those who don't know, Mind Your Biz, he's almost, I would say the highest percentage of commentary is vetted by a lawyer, or we give a lawyer like a thumbs up by a lawyer. Mind Your Biz is very careful with his words. I have to ask questions in a way I feel like I'm trying to jailbreak an AI. So I think I got a way where I'm going to Dan you like crypto, chat GPT here. Mind Your Biz. If you owned a convenience store, would you put in a crypto ATM? Why or why not?
That's a great question. So first off, I actually need to disclose I'm very closely associated with somebody who, now you mentioned, I'm closely associated with a competing crypto ATM company. And I don't have to disclose their name, but I just need to mention, like, hey, I'm compromised, right? So I'm a little biased here. But I've scouted locations with the intent of deploying crypto ATMs myself as a business model. You know, I mean, mining is kind of like the crypto and blockchain infrastructure sort of business du jour, like not du jour, but of the last phase of blockchain and of the last bull run. If you could get into mining successfully and scale it up, then it's a really great business, right? You've got things that you can sell off, you've got hardware, you've got things that you can amortize and you can write off, and you've got a very clear list of inventory, like assets and things that you can prove that you're running a legitimate business. And the fact that you're grinding out any amount of profit in the form of fresh coins with mining is kind of coincidental. The same is largely true of Bitcoin ATMs. Your profit margin can come in the form of buybacks, right? Or people who are wanting to sell cryptocurrencies. And so you can stack your bags, you can stack your cryptos in that way. So it's a very interesting business model. And I mean, you're asking if I own the convenience store, would I put in an ATM? Well, easy. That's not how it's done. Do you want to know how it's done?
How is it done?
If I own the convenience store, I would rent to you the space to have that ATM installed. So I am entirely separate. And this is alpha for anybody who's looking at this business. There are ways to stay totally above board. Obviously, go talk to a licensed professional and talk to somebody who manages your finances and your business interests. But generally speaking, if you own a physical location where a Bitcoin ATM or crypto ATM might perform well because of foot traffic, then you're not going to necessarily be a part of their business. It's not a joint venture. You're simply going to rent out that space in the same way that you might rent out that space to, say, like a candy machine or somebody that wants to put in a little, little prize claw or something for people to try to dump in quarters and attempt to get like a plush toy or something. So almost the exact same business model from the real estate investor's perspective or from the other business owner's perspective. So it's completely uncontroversial, just letting somebody install a Bitcoin ATM. Ideologically, that changes things for me. Would I deploy Bitcoin ATMs at any old Quickie Mart? Yeah, I would. I totally would. I almost did. I almost scaled up a business just like that because I love the idea, again, I mentioned, of sovereign and dangerous freedom. There are limits for KYC for most of these machines. And of course, I believe in obeying every just law all the way up to the letter and in petitioning to change laws that I find unjust. But there are KYC limits on these things. And so people can get small amounts. They can DCA into cryptocurrencies using cash in a very anonymous way using Bitcoin ATMs. Here's where I'm going to give counterpoint to Army Piper's answer, because I really appreciate the well-reasoned response that he gave, but I disagree. And I disagree because I think it's important for people to be able to DCA into these assets in the most sovereign and pseudonymous or anonymous way they can, in the same way that we protect various businesses here in the United States that operate largely with cash. We still expect them to keep clean books and to pay their taxes and to obey every just law. But they can operate entirely in cash if they want to. And there are plenty of businesses that do. And we've never previously viewed this as controversial, the fact that they use cash. So a bearer asset like crypto should be no more or less controversial. We should allow people to be able to DCA into these assets and keep their books and be secure in their papers as they see fit without having to KYC all the time for every single Satoshi
Yeah.
or every single way of every single asset.
It'll be surprising to see how this resolves itself in a cashless society, because I don't know. I mean, my guess would be maybe you can get a Walmart gift card anonymously and then take that Walmart gift card to a Bitcoin ATM. I'm not sure if it would need to link to an active account. Hey, if you are a Bitcoin creator, maybe look into that, because, yeah, if we go cashless, people are going to want anonymous ways of buying these things. I think that's one of the main selling points. I agree. All right, well, let's move on. We have a super chat, Crypto Seth. Bitcoin ATM is like a dorky crypto enthusiast bucket list activity. I think I remember seeing that in the bucket list movie. It was Morgan Freeman's. That was Morgan Freeman's part. He had to do that, I believe. All right, well, let's talk about IRS pressuring.
No, let's talk about that
Kraken.
shirt.
Do we want to show off the shirt real quick?
Oh, yeah.
This is from a fan.
God,
Nick.
I love that shirt.
Nick sent it in, and you could buy it on Etsy, and I just don't happen to have the name. I'll have to maybe try to tweet it out or something. But shout out to Nick. Thank you for the t-shirt. I'm going to rock it everywhere. I'm going to rock it too when I pay my taxes. All right, but IRS is now pressuring Kraken. It looks like there's a little bit of a victory for the IRS, not for Kraken. First, a little background. In 2021, IRS asked Kraken, say, hey, we need some of your customer data. Kraken said no. And then IRS took it to the streets, or I should say the courts, rather. Fast forward to today, they had to file a court petition. Fast forward, Magistrate Judge Joseph Sparrow, he handed down a new ruling forcing Kraken to provide info on every single customer who traded over 20K from 2016 to 2020. There was, just some of the little bits of data that they want. Your name, your tax ID number or social security number, your phone number, your email, your address. They didn't get all the info, though. They also wanted, the court rejected this, thankfully. They also wanted some of their due diligence questionnaire. They wanted your net worth. They wanted the source of your income. And they also wanted your place of employment. So it looks like, Kraken out there, they were fighting for us. Unfortunately, they got a little bit of a loss today. The judge cited IRS data. Looks like us Krakens, we traded $140 billion worth on the platform amongst 4 million customers there. Looks like they did about $500 million in volume just yesterday. So there's still a robust exchange here. Now, mind your biz, we got a pretty big holiday. I think pretty sure they rioted over, was it a 2% T-tax? Was that what it was? A 2%, 10? It was very, very low. My question to you is, what advice do you have for Americans at this point?
I think that there is a massive cause for mass non-compliance of unjust laws within reason. And it's hard to agree what those reasonable limits are and what those unjust laws are. But it wouldn't be the first time we've done it. And it definitely will not be the last time that we do it together. But we're stronger together. And we need to be sure that we stand up to the face of tyranny, domestic, foreign, or wherever we find it. But certainly, if there are laws that we find that we can't abide by here, then we need to be heard, and we need to have our presence felt. That our massive displeasure, right, as a group of people, we need to protest en masse. So that's my take on it. That's very vague, I know, but make friends with your neighbors.
Again, it goes to my earlier point. You get the thumbs up from any lawyer watching this. They're like, yeah, that Mind Your Biz guy, I need him as a client, so not some of these other crypto influencers out there running their mouth. All right, well, Army Piper, you might have a little bit of an insight into this. Being a former government employee, can we just expect every single U.S. exchange henceforth just give all their data to the government?
Okay, so yes, the answer to that is yes, but let me tell you why. You guys may not realize this, but there's only one country on the entire planet of Earth that no matter where you go and work, you're going to still pay them taxes to the country that you came from. So I could work in Germany for a company based in Singapore that runs remote work operations out of Italy, and I'm still going to have to pay taxes to the United States. You can never escape the United States. It's the only country of its type in the world that no matter where you work, no matter where you reside, no matter how many citizenships you have, you're still going to pay taxes to the United States. So yes, being that you can't escape your taxes, I do not see a world where they do not make every single financial on-ramp exchange that you could possibly touch not be KYC'd, and we're going to have to all go to using VPNs or have friends in other places that KYC for us to operate on DEXs someday. I would assume, because the way that it is in the way that it's designed, we're not going to be able to escape it. The United States is going to scrape and pinch and pull every single Satoshi they can out of your pocket, and then they're going to turn around and ask to tax you more so that they can pay for things like, people's college instead of that. Instead of me, who earned my college with 21 years and 4 years of combat, I don't get any money for that. I get all the broken bones though, and I get the cane and the neuropathy and the PTSD and all that good stuff. But hey, at the end of the day, I just hope that I make enough money that I can buy my own island somewhere, and then I'll start that up, and we'll call it Satoshi Island, and you guys can all move with me.
Whoa! I was almost going to subtract 20 points. You're not going to name it Chainlink Island?
No. Chainlink is going to be the password to get onto the island.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you get 1 point for that. All right. Good stuff there. All right.
But now I have to change it because you just made me say it out loud. So thanks.
What are we going to do? All right. Well, just change it to your seed phrase, but tell me first. All right. Now, Jenna, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I try to see both sides of a story. And I think that's what makes a show like this good. So I want to ask you, isn't the IRS right in going after this information? I mean, it could be tax evaders, no?
I mean, I'm not the IRS and I'm not the cops. So, but as Army Piper was saying, going on, about all this taxes and everything, I became extremely depressed. But no, I can see why the IRS needs to do that. And I know that they need to look out for really bad actors and everything. And I get it. But where I draw the line is, we have a right to decentralization. And I don't think it's okay what the United States is trying to do and people that are trying to stomp that out. We should be able to send money peer to peer. We should be able to have these things. It should be our right, just as we have cash now. And I think that's completely wrong for that to be taken away from us. But I get that they need to be able to track bad actors and everything like that. But this also doesn't make sense. If they're able to follow crypto this much, then why are they complaining that, this is all bad, for use for drugs and this and that? If you can track it, freaking track it. That should help you with your problem. The blockchain is transparent. So all of this is honestly just to show it's really annoying, but anybody should know if you're putting your social security number in there, your driver's license, that's all for a reason. Know that as soon as you do that, you're as good as gone for that money. You need to know that somebody's going to be able to access that somewhere, sometime. Now, this whole KYC for a DEX thing, I really hope that we don't get to that point, but that's going to be horrible. But also with our cold storage, that's also a chance that they could be subpoenaed and everything. So if you don't want that information out there, do not put it out there. Do your research.
Do your own research, folks. And yeah, I'm glad you're bringing up some of these points. It's we'll see how this plays out. I don't want to give up my information, that's for sure. And hopefully we can continue to use DEXs. Hopefully, we continue. I'm still using KuCoin 5X, but I know that comes to an end, within the week or two. So that is all we have time for today, though. It was a very, very close episode. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Links are in the description. I want to give another shout out to the Pegasus app by Amino. It's a move to earn. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to do some research over the holiday. I'll let you guys know. But mind your biz. I think you get to leave us with the last message before our nation's anniversary of our independence.
Oh my goodness. It's my great pleasure to do so. Thank you so much for having me back on the channel. It was such a pleasure to be on a really great and rousing conversation with two incredible minds, especially I want to give a special shout out to Army Piper. He mentioned some of the trials and tribulations that he personally went through in his service to our country. And I think we can do better by our combat veterans. So I guess I'll just leave that one as that. Let's do right by our veterans. Let's try to vote for just laws. Try to keep our boys out of harm's way the best we can. And yeah, happy 4th of July.
Support your local VA. All right, that's all we got. Until next time, hit that like button, everybody. We'll see you after the holiday.
Have fun at work tomorrow, Britain.